บางทีผมนึกว่าจะมี MC นะผมเลยไม่ได้ทำนะไม่ได้พูดตรงนั้นนะฮะก็ขอเป็น MC นิดหนึ่งนะฮะว่าเมื่อกี้ผมแนะนำคุณกรพัฒน์เฮนรี่เจริญไปแล้วนะฮะว่าคุณกรพัฒน์เป็นประวัติศาสตร์นะครับของชุมชนนะฮะผมอยากให้คุณกรพัฒน์ได้พูดคุยกับท่านสักนิดหนึ่งนะฮะท่านจะได้รู้จักและก็ได้รับทราบนะฮะความคิดความเห็นมุมมองต่างๆนะครับท่านจะได้ภาคภูมิใจนะครับว่าเรามีคนเหล่านี้อยู่ในชุมชนไทยนะครับเชิญ
สวัสดีครับขอบคุณมากครับที่เปิดโอกาสให้ผมมาพูดวันนี้นะครับผมพูดภาษาไทยไม่ค่อยชัดขอพูดภาษาอังกฤษนะครับ First off, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Bangkok. I came to the United States when I was 5 years old. We moved to Las Vegas, and then I moved out here to Los Angeles to attend USC. I got my bachelor's degree from USC, and then I earned my MBA from UC Irvine. I got elected to the La Palma City Council in 2006, and I'm currently a member of the Fountain of Living Water Church in the city of La Palma. The two things that I want to talk to you about today are the same two things that the Consul General just talked to you about, but then they're so important that I wanted to talk to you about them again. Okay, the two things I wanted to talk about was the importance of our Thai community being involved in the political process, and then also the importance of filling out the 2010 census that's coming up. Now you're thinking to yourself, why are we talking about political process and engagement while we're at the church? Because in theory, there's supposed to be a separation, right, between church and state. But then that's in theory. Let me give you a realistic example. In the city of Cyprus, there was this church called Cottonwood Church. You might have heard of this church. The city council, they voted to force the church to move to a different location, tear down their current church so that they could build a Costco. This is on Catella. You might have visited this Costco yourself. So that line of separation between church and state, that is a very, very blurry line. Every day, I thank God to have given me this opportunity to give back and help our community. I love our Thai community. We are a great community. We are strong, but we can be stronger. We are active, but we can be even more active. We have a lot of great ideas, but then now we just have to come together and work together to make those ideas into reality. Now, one of the things that we could do to be stronger, to be more active, is to be involved in the political process. The minimum that we should do is to vote. Minimum. Encourage, and if you know somebody who is not registered to vote, register them to vote. Whether your parents or your friends, and have them register absentee. That's the easiest way to do it. You can vote from home. Just put it in the mailbox, and that's it, you're done. Now, there are 3 very important elections coming up this year. We're going to have a new governor. You're going to vote for a senator. And you're going to be voting for congressmen for your area. Very, very important election, so please make sure to vote. Now, if you see a candidate that you like, and if you want to do more than just voting, go and help that candidate. Help him campaign, help him get votes, so that the person that you want to win wins. And when you're looking for a candidate, look for a candidate that shares your hopes, that shares your dreams, that has your values and shares your beliefs. When you find that person, you want to help them out. And then if and when they do win, then they'll remember us, the Thai community, they'll remember you. And then, given the opportunity, they'll help our Thai community also. I've seen this work at other communities. Chinese community, Vietnamese community, Japanese, this is what they do. They're very, very politically active. And then they get a lot more things than we do as a Thai community. They get a lot more attention. They get a lot more focus. And when they ask for things, they have a better chance of getting them. And this really frustrates me and angers me because I know that we as a Thai community, we are just as good as those other communities, right? That is why we need to be more involved in the political process. We, as a Thai community, we don't want to be the forgotten community. We don't want them to only know about the Chinese, Vietnamese, Koreans. We want them to know about our Thai community. So that if we have issues about zoning, about streets, about a church, about temples, about police, or anything like that, the elected officials are the ones that are supposed to help us. But then if they don't know that there's a Thai community out there, how are they going to know to help us? They need to know that we are here. This leads to the second point of how we can build our presence and then have them know that we are here. As the Consul General mentioned, the census, 2010 census is coming up very, very quickly. And it's very important that us Thais as a community fill out that census form. In 2000, there was only 100,000 Thais that filled out. We know, of course, as Consul General mentioned, there's more than that. We think there's about 300 to 400,000 Thais. But it doesn't matter how many there are in reality. The only thing that matters is how many people actually fill out the form. And then when government and the elected officials, when they make decisions, they make laws, they make policies, they look at that census. They look at that number. They don't know how many people are really out there. They only look at what is on the form. So it's very important that you fill out that form today or this year. Let me give you another example of how it could be beneficial to our community. Let's say both the Thai community and the Cambodian community, about the same size. Let's say they both want documents translated in Thai and in Cambodian. And let's say the documents are about the church. How to fill out church taxes, how to build a church, how to employ employees for a church and things like that. Now let's say the government only has enough money to translate into one language. What language are they going to translate it into? Are they going to do it in Thai or are they going to do it in Cambodian? They're going to look at the census. They're going to look at the census and then see which community is the larger community. And that community is going to win. It doesn't matter which community is in reality is larger. It is what is on that piece of paper that counts. It doesn't matter if I'm talking about translation of documents. It doesn't matter if we're talking about anything else. Larger community usually wins. And we as a Thai community, we have been at a disadvantage to those other Asian communities for many decades. In 2000, we're at a disadvantage. 1990, 1980, because we haven't been filling out the census forms. This is our year to do it. If we don't do it this year, 2010, 10 years from now, is the next time that we have a chance to do it. We've been at disadvantage for so long. Let's not be at disadvantage for another 10 years. The power is in our hands, it's in your hands, it's in my hands, it's in your friends' hands. We have to work together. This is not something that we can do alone. We have to work